What's up, people, and welcome back to the dungeon for another episode of Stranger Things in Review. This is the spoiler cast for the final season of this awesome show. This is Volume 2 of Season 5. They split it up into 3 parts, so I'm doing my spoiler cast in 3 parts. This part of the video will be basically my initial thoughts and opinions and feelings about the season, or this batch of episodes. This is Volume 2. It's 3 episodes, each one about an hour long. Overall, this bundle of episodes was fine. Not a lot happens, to be honest. It's kind of just the build-up for the finale. The finale, like the final episode, the big showdown, as they call it. Nothing really impactful happens. It's just kind of, I wouldn't go as far as to say filler episodes, but there's a lot of build-up for this final season. A lot of hype, a lot of build-up, a lot of talk that huge, important, life-altering things were going to happen, and didn't really turn out that way. But yeah, there are more episodes of the show, so you know, if you want more Stranger Things, here you go. Here's these episodes. But yeah, that's, you know, they were fine. Just kind of whatever. That's the base level, bare bones, spoiler-free portion of this episode. Now we're getting into full-blown spoiler territory, where I'm going to do my best to recap the plot of these 3 episodes. I only watched through it once, so I may get some details left out. I may end up getting things out of order, but I'm going to give you pretty much the bullet points rundown of what happens. So we left off with Vecna was kidnapping all these kids, right? All the kids from the town for some nefarious reason or another. Our party's been splintered off, as the show does, as most shows do with a big cast. You can't have them all together very often, so you got to find reasons to send this group over here and that group over there, and you got to separate them all. So that happened. We have Hopper and Eleven on the Upside Down at the military base. We have Nancy and Dustin and Steve and Jonathan. They're off doing another thing. I think they're making their way to the Hawkins Lab on the Upside Down. We have over here in the real world, we have Mike and Lucas and Will and Joyce is hanging out with them, like actually getting involved for a change. So anyway, got all the different groups out there, and they're all part of the same basic plan to find and stop Vecna. Or, you know, basically Vader. So the military in town had got all these kids because they found out that Vecna's after the kids. So, you know, what better plan than to round them all up and have them all in one place? Kind of a one-stop shop for the bad guys to just come and pick up all their goods in one foul swoop. Just get in there and get them. Just make things super easy for them. So anyway, Mike and crew are going to use the tunnels to infiltrate this military compound, this, you know, labor camp, basically, concentration camp of sorts. And they're going to get in there and they're going to get the kids and get out Not all the kids, just the ones that Vecna's after, because Will can somehow tap in and figure out which kids are better than others. Just kind of, just really, really cherry picking. A lot of favoritism being shown here. But anyway, they get up in there and Demogorgons show up and wreck shop and start killing everybody, and Vecna comes walking through the big gate, and he shows up, and he mind powers Will up into the air and talks some smack to him, and the last episode of Volume 1 of Season 5, Will stands up and activates his superpowers that turns out he has, and he bone breaks a bunch of Demogorgons, and it ends with a little trickle of blood coming out his nostril, and we're all like, oh, whoa, ho, hold on here, what? Oh snap, Will's got powers. So that's where we pick up, basically right there. Everybody's mystified that Will has powers. They don't understand how or why, and he's like, look, I don't really have powers. I can just kind of tap into the hive mind, and I can use whatever Vecna can do, I can do too. So that's going on there. Back in the Upside Down, Hopper and 11 found 8. Remember 8? Sister from that one throwaway episode in season 2. Well, she's back, and don't know why, other than it just kind of feels like the Duffers had to throw her in here. Otherwise, what was the point of introducing that character at all to begin with? So she's back, and Hopper and 11 get her, and they get her out of there, and they escape this military place, and 11 and 8 are having a chat, and 11's like, you can help us, we're going to find Vecna, we're going to kill him, and she's like, cool, that sounds great, but problem is, and she takes her down this whole, like, walk down memory lane of the military showing up and killing her friends, and capturing her, and taking her back to the lab, and Sarah Connor was taking her blood and trying to, clone her, essentially, trying to make more super soldiers from her blood. Didn't work. They all got sick and died, but Sarah Connor realized that 11 was essentially a carbon copy of number 1, aka Henry Creel, aka Vecna. 11's the only one of all the kids to turn out a success in Papa's work, Dr. Brenner. He, some of the kids got powers, but they're wanting to breed an army of super soldiers. None of the other kids worked in that way. They couldn't use their blood, they couldn't clone more, they couldn't make more, but they can with 11. That's why they're after her. They want to get her, they want to use her blood to make more. And so 8's like, hate to break it to you, but this has to end, and we have to end to put a stop to it. So I agree with you, we need to get in there, and we need to find Vecna, or whatever we're calling him now, the bad guy. We need to find him, we need to kill him, we need to stop him, but once he's dead, we got to take ourselves out too, because as long as we exist, they can use us to make more monsters, and that's bad. We don't like that. So why did they cast Linda Hamilton, aka Sarah Connor, in this show? Why? Because it's very Terminator. 11 is Schwarzenegger. 11 is the robot that has to sacrifice herself at the end, lower herself down into a vat of molten lead or lava or whatever you want to call it. Give the camera a big thumbs up on her way down. Hero sacrifice, just like Bruce Willis in Armageddon. Gotta do it. So 11's bummed out, but she's like, okay, that sucks, but I guess I agree with all of that. So Dustin and Steve, Nancy and Jonathan make their way to Hawkins Lab because Dustin's like, the lab is always at the center of all this. All of this, since the very beginning. Everything that's going wrong, Hawkins Lab is right smack in the middle. So, you know, it's got to be whatever's going on. It's Hawkins Lab is always the heart. So let's go check it out. Whatever's going on, the lab is behind it. So they go to the lab, and they split off, and Nancy and Jonathan go their way, and Steve and Dustin go their way, and both groups are not vibing. They're not getting along at all. Like, Steve volunteers to go with Nancy, and of course Jonathan gets an attitude with him, and he's like, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Because you're always after my girl, even though she's really not my girl anymore. We as the audience can clearly see that. Steve sees it, everybody sees it, and Nancy and Jonathan both know it as well, but they won't admit it. And so anyway, there's bad blood there. Dustin and Steve are fighting like an old married couple for some reason that we don't understand and we don't like. But anyway, both groups go their separate ways. They're looking around, they're exploring the lab, they're trying to figure out what is up, what's going on. Something's here, something's responsible for all of this, and we're gonna find it. We don't know what it is, but we know it's here. So Dustin and Steve are looking around, and they're both just catty, just bickering back and forth at each other, just me, like children. Like, I don't know. It's just very, very petty and very. It's like when you're in a relationship and you're just over it. You're done with each other. You got to the point where you can't stand each other anymore, and you're just pissy back and forth all the time over nothing. That's what this is. And basically, Dustin's calling Steve stupid, and Steve's like, "You're just being an asshole." And finally, they have it out. Steve's like, "You're mad because Eddie killed himself. He was an idiot. He sacrificed. I told y'all not to be heroes, and he went and sacrificed himself, not to be noble, but because he wanted to act out his fantasy of being a hero of the day in your stupid Dungeons and Dragons world that you live in, and you're just mad because you know just as well as I do that he was an idiot and him killing himself was stupid." And Dustin's like, basically, how dare you? He saved us all. You're just a moron, and you're just jealous. And anyway, they literally come to blows, and Dustin straight up socks him in the mouth, and they wrestle around, and they go crashing through some walls and shit. And I mean, they literally come to blows. And Steve finally is just like, I'm done, walks away. And Dustin picks himself up off the floor, and he sees a door that's cracked open, and he goes up in there, and he finds a secret room filled with all kinds of doodles and schematics and paperwork and data and this and that and the other, and he's looking through all this stuff, and he has an epiphany. He realizes something. So he goes running up the stairs screaming, "Nancy and Jonathan, answer the radio," right? But his radio's not working because it got broke in the scuffle. Like, his and Steve's pro wrestling match, like backyard wrestling that they were doing, just broke his radio in the process. So he can't get a hold of Nancy and Jonathan, who have made their way to the roof, and Jonathan's finally been big enough to try and have a conversation with her about, like, look, things aren't good. What's going on? Like, what this? We can't keep ignoring things. We can't keep putting like we got to deal with this. And she's trying to be like, we got bigger things. She's like the only voice of reason in this whole show. We got all these stupid little, like, all this ignorant petty, childish drama going on, and we got the end of the world looming overhead. And she's like, look, we don't got time for this. We got bigger, more important things to deal with. And I'm like, thank you, Nancy. Who cares about all of this high school drama bullshit? We've got bigger, more important things to deal with. But anyway, they make their way to the roof, and they see like a glimmer or something. I was starting to fall asleep at this point, but like something, they see something or they hear something. They know something's there that they can't see. So of course, Nancy being Nancy, and her first instinct is to just, shoot it. And so at the same time, Dustin's running up the stairs trying to get to her on the broken radio, screaming, don't do anything, don't. It's not what we thought it was, blah, 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 blah. And she pulls the trigger, and all of a sudden there's an explosion of light and a giant floating orb, like just a big, it kind of reminds me of the Traveler in Destiny. Just this big ball of red swirling light appears and sends a shockwave out, and it spreads out over the entire city, and it hits the wall that was introduced in the first batch of episodes of the final season. I think the episode 4 or whatever, but hits the wall, the giant meat wall, and blows a hole in it. And Hopper and 11 are there, just happen to be right there beside this hole that just kind of spits out into the vacuum of space, and it's sucking everything into it. But for some reason, 11 and Hopper and 8 are immune to this vacuum. Like, it's sucking tombstones and trees out of the ground, and they're fine. They're, I don't know, for some reason anchored to the ground in stronger ways than trees are. But 11, slow motion mind powers a telekinetic bubble around them, and they walk across the screen as everything's being sucked into oblivion, and they walk across the street to just a gate that randomly appears and escape, and that's all very convenient. But anyway, Dustin passes Steve, and Steve's like, what's going on? And he's like, shut up, I hate you. Come with me, though, because I need your help. So they make it to the top, and they get up there, and the giant swirling ball of doom calms down, and they all meet up on the roof, and Dustin lays it all out for him. He's like, look, we were wrong. All of this that we thought we understood about the Upside Down, we were dead wrong about it all. Turns out, supernatural stuff didn't make this. Science did. Dr. Brenner did all of this. He wanted to. This is what he wanted. He had his reasons that you'd have to look into the prequel story, The First Shadow, to really fully understand all of the backstory stuff for how and why and that and this and that and the other. But anyway, Brenner did it. And he used Henry and later 11. He used them as puppets to create a wormhole to connect our world to another world, and more on that here in a little bit. But anyway, this ball is called exotic matter, and this is what's creating everything around us right now. This is what's holding our world and this other world that they're calling the Abyss. The First Shadow story calls it Dimension X, which you Turtle fans might remember as where Krang comes from. But there's a wormhole. And it's not like an Einstein-Rosen bridge that we think of. It's like a literal physical the wall that wraps. It's kind of hard to explain. You have to just see like a visual representation of it. But the wall that goes all the way around Hawkins and the upside down exists in the middle. It's the middle space between our world and the abyss. So think of it like a cylinder, essentially. Like this bottle of Coke, for example. My phone is the abyss. The table is our world. And all of this here in the middle is the upside down. And in the middle of the upside down, right here in the middle, is this swirling ball of just horribleness. And that if they destroy that, all of that in the middle that connects, the connecting tissue that anchors these two planes of existence together, collapses. And we'll just say it's bad for everybody. So he's like, so let's not shoot it with a shotgun. Please, Nancy, get it together. So anyway, the swirling ball gets super hot. Things start melting, and Nancy and Jonathan fall through the floor. And actually, maybe Dustin and them don't have that conversation yet. I think Nancy and Jonathan fall through the ceiling/floor first, and they end up in an office room as just melted goo fills the room, and it's like a scene straight out of Titanic. They climb up on a nearby conference table, and they finally have their powwow as the room is slowly filling with melted whatnots. It just kind of looks like paint, just gray paint slowly rising around them, and they have a heart-to-heart there on the table, and he's like, look, this is it for us. And before we die, I have to tell you the truth. I didn't apply to such and such college. And she's like, I know. And while you were away, I had time to really think. And they both basically agree that it's over. That life or circumstance or distance or whatever it was that happened pushed them apart, and they're done. They're not a couple anymore. And he pulled a ring out that he had in his pocket all along, and he's like, I really thought that this was gonna fix everything. And he says something like, will you do me the honor of not marrying me? And she's like, I accept your unproposal. And it's all very weird, and the liquid goo's about to drown him, and he takes the ring and he throws it over his shoulder, and you hear a clang sound. And she looks, and the stuff had just decided randomly to solidify and stop melting, and because the ring's laying there on top of it. And she's like, hooray, we're saved. And so they get up, and Jonathan's trying to break through the wall, but he's kind of a pussy. So Steve comes crashing through the wall because he's a super manly man. But in Jonathan and Nancy's chat, she was like, look, Steve's great and all, but no. I'm not going to be with him. We tried it. It didn't work. He wants different things. I want different things. I'm just going to kind of not be with anybody, if that's okay. So anyway, they save the day. They have their powwow about the exotic matter, and they establish all of that so that the audience kind of understands what's going on. And I think if I remember right, that episode ends with the camera pulling back through the hole that was made earlier and out into space, and it keeps pulling back, and we get a full shot of all of this, and it's real cool looking. It's just, like I said, it looks like a cylinder, and up here's the bad dimension, down here's Earth, and this weird meat wall is connecting them both. And anyway, it's cool. It's cool to see an actual physical visual representation of all of this for the first time. So everybody makes it back to the real world. Just easily and safely and coincidentally, and everybody meets up, and they meet up and they have a big powwow of trying to figure out what they're gonna do. What is the plan? And Dustin tells them what's going on and why and how, and they establish that Vecna is using these kids and their minds basically like batteries to strengthen himself and his own powers in order to bring the abyss down slowly and merge the two worlds into one. I don't know, to just destroy the world and everyone in it. Not real sure, but that's his plan. He wants to merge our world with the bad world and wreck shop. He's using these kids to do it. So they're trying to form a plan, figure out what to do, and they decide that they're all gonna get up in there and they're gonna use 11 from the bath at the lab, because it like supercharges her powers. She can use it with the help of 8, and also with the help of Max, who, by the way, they saved. I guess I left that detail out. Lucas is playing her favorite song, and she's gonna escape back into her body, and she's got Holly there with her, and she's just like, sorry kid, figure it out, I guess. Kind of sucks to be you. Look around, maybe, I don't know, over there perhaps, I don't know, but like, they're playing my favorite song, I gotta go, so you're gonna be cool, right? Like, you're good. And she runs off, just leaves the kid behind, runs off, and jumps through the Stargate and whoop, back into her body. And Max wakes up, and she's back. She's alive again, and celebrations for all, hooray! But she's still she's in a broken body. Her physical body is still in pretty piss poor shape. Can't do anything. Can barely like open her eyes, and her arms and legs don't work. And she's she's a puppet, and somebody cut the strings, and it's all real bad. But Lucas is carrying her around, and they make it down to the bottom of the hospital because the Demogorgons are here. And there's a big laundry room that they're hiding in, and it's the demi-dogs come crashing in, and they're hiding, and the demi-dogs are sneaking up, and they're sniffing them out, and it's straight up one for one the velociraptors in the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park 1. Compare them, put like side by side. That's what this is. But Mrs. Wheeler, she woke up, and she's not having any of this. She's pissed off, and she has a whole Ellen Ripley from Aliens moment here, where she's had it, and she's gonna give these monsters a piece of her mind. And they're down there, and they're about to find the kids, and there's a noise, and they go to investigate the noise, and there's a dryer with a bunch of oxygen tanks in it, and they turn their heads slowly, in confusion, like, hey, what's that? And they blow up the monsters, hooray! And they all get together, and they're all reunited, and they have a whole moment here, and Mike's like, cool, good job, Mom, you're great. But this is your last scene, because we don't actually need, we got too many characters and too much going on already, and you're just gonna like, too many cooks in the kitchen already. So go back to your room. Good job. You're great. But we got Max out, so we're gonna go get Holly. Everything's gonna be fine. Go take a nap. So, round of applause for Karen Wheeler. She did it. Curtain call. Take a bow. Whoop. Exit stage left. So that happened. Anyway, they all meet up, and they're hashing out a plan. Yeah, they're gonna get 11 in the bath. Everybody else is going to get into the upside down. They're going to climb to the top of the radio tower to like somehow boost Eleven's signal. She's going to use the help of 8 and Max, because Max has been in Vecna's mind. She knows her way around. So she's going to kind of like piggyback with 11, and they're going to hop in there, and they're going to find their way into his brain, and they're going to shut him down. That's the plan. Pretty crazy plan, but that's what they got. So that's how this batch of episodes ends. This was volume 2. It ends with them all piled into a semi-trailer, and they make it through the military barricade, and everybody's shooting at them, and Hopper's hiding in a like store over here to the side, and he's shooting at the soldiers through a window to, covering fire, suppressing fire, and causing a distraction. And then Nancy pops out of a sunroof like manhole in the top of the trailer. She's shooting at the soldier. Everybody's shooting at everybody, and the trailer through the big gate through into the upside down, and the trailer's open, and Eleven's just standing there, and Sarah Connor standing there, and they have a stare down, and Sarah Connor's like, I'm gonna get you and your little dog too. And yeah, that's how this batch ends. And we're like, huh, okay. Not a lot happens, really. We were expecting deaths, and lots of them. Like, the Duffers were straight up saying people are gonna die, and it's gonna be traumatic. It's like several people gonna die, and it's gonna be the most graphic, horrifying deaths you've ever seen on TV, and none of that happens. None of it. The swirling ball of energy and the wormhole tunnel were pretty much the only really cool things that happen in the entire 3 episodes. But like I said, it's build up to the finale. It's it's when you're on a roller coaster and it's taking you up that hill, really slowly, just like, you know what I'm talking about. It's slow, and it's almost kind of boring, but you see the top of the hill, and you're like, that it's building to something that's gonna like blow your mind. That's what this was. So it was fine. It's set up for the final fight. That's it for this one. Like I said, I'm gonna save my ranking of this final season as a whole for when I'm done with all 3 parts. But so far, I'll say that really enjoying season 5. We'll see what happens with the actual final episode. It's like 2.5 hours long. They're putting it in some theater, like movie theaters, because it's straight up feature film length. But yeah, so far, I mean, I'm gonna put it probably right smack in the middle of my ranking. Depends on what happens with this final episode. But yeah, that's gonna do it for now. As always, if you want to hang around for a second when this video is over, there's going to be some thumbnails pop up in the corners of the screen. That's some other stuff that I do. I'm doing a Dorito chip ranking / review / reacts / taste testing. I don't know. I'm going through every single flavor of Doritos. That's what I'm doing. All of them. All of them I can find, even the really, really bad ones. And there's already been some bad ones, and there's some even probably worse ones still to come. So check that out. It's something. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Come back and join me for the finale, the last episode of Stranger Things. But until then, we'll catch you later.